good morning. Welcome to Your Vote Counts. I'm Scott Mitchell, Leader Echols, Representative Dunnington. There were stories this week about test scores, testing Oklahoma kids in our public schools. The results are not good. Could you help us understand what those numbers meant?
Yeah, there were a couple articles in the paper this week about test scores, and for the viewers at home, I can't really sugarcoat this. They're not good at all. As far as parents are concerned, really worried about our kids' ability to read, write, do science, do math, and our scores are as low as they come right now. I think there are a couple things at play here. One, maybe we should think about testing in a different way to make sure that what we're actually understanding from what our kids know translates into what the 21st century workforce is going to be. Otherwise, the other thing that we really need to just pay attention to is our scores are the lowest in the region, and that's a big problem for us going forward, not just now, but like a decade from now. We have to pay attention to this.
Okay, and I'm not sure everybody is. My question to you is, what do you make of these test scores?
Yeah, so they're important. So what we looked at is our kids are doing better than last year, which was what we would expect after COVID, but they're still down from pre-COVID. So here's what we need to look at. First, thank you to our teachers. No, I'm not on the show blaming our teachers at all in any way, shape, or form, but it's going to take all of us. Parents, read more to your kids. Be more involved in your kids' educational time. And I know many of you are doing this. The legislature, we've got to continue to look at what we can do to unshackle teachers so they can teach kids to read, write, do math. That's what it's all about. And these scores are concerning. We need to be talking about them. They're politically uncomfortable, but we're elected to have uncomfortable conversations.
Okay, so with that setting the tone, I'm looking at campaigns and seeing the stories. It doesn't appear like that's the top issue. There are a lot of other things that are in the classroom that don't seem to matter as much as how the kids are learning. Your thoughts about why the candidate, we don't even see it happening inside the state superintendent race.
Well, I don't understand that, and I agree. What we need to be looking at right now, and what everyone needs to be talking about, is how do we empower teachers, give them the tools they need, and empower them to better educate our kids. Our schooling is not for any type of political indoctrination of any type. It is not for any type of anything other than reading, writing, and math. So if we could find a way to unshackle our teachers, continue to give them the funding that they need, and I'd love to see a vision be cast for people in the state superintendent's race to start talking about why, if you're elected, you are going to increase these test scores. Not tertiary issues, but this is what I hear from constituents. That's what they care about. We can do this. We can support our teachers, and we can give our parents more choice. We can support our parents, and we can get these up.
Okay, so it's conspicuous to me. This is just missing from the conversations. Why do you think that?
Well, right now it seems like we have a candidate that's just waging social issue wars as like their reason for running for state superintendent. Another candidate that really hasn't yet created a vision. And I'll agree with my colleague. We need both of the candidates right now to talk about what are you going to do, what's it going to look like 5 years, 10 years from now. And I'll be the first to tell you, it's not all about education. We have a serious issue with poverty in the state of Oklahoma. And I promise you that poverty is a variable that's playing into these test scores. When you look at how low the scores are, I bet you can see that those levels have a lot to do with the level of education and economic ability their parents have.
Okay, thanks for that. Hey, there's some test scores for voters coming up, some deadlines you need to know about in our next segment. And welcome back. We were talking test scores in the first segment, and the test scores for voting in Oklahoma, it's not good. A lot of us not showing up for class. A big deadline is coming.
You know, we call this Your Vote Counts on this show for a reason, because your vote does count, and you get the opportunity to elect your leaders. October 14th of this month is the last day to register to vote. You can't win the game if you're not in the game. We do what we say. I come on this show, and I absolutely, from a strong conservative perspective, I pitch my point of view. I have my friend that pitches the other opposite view, but at the end of the day, you, the voters, you decide what you want at the ballot box. But again, October 14th is your last day to register to vote. If you are not registered, this is from the conservative. I don't care if you're conservative, liberal, or anywhere in between. I want you to go register before October 14th. Get out and vote. Your vote does count.
I don't want to sound like Dr. Gaddy, all right? But, you know, the franchise is paid for by a lot of sacrifice for a lot of people who couldn't use it for a long time, okay? Our voting levels are just too low. This deadline is important that people get out there and get this done.
It is important. October 14th, your last day to register as a voter in the state of Oklahoma before upcoming elections in November. Look, we have about just under 2 million registered voters here in the state of Oklahoma. We have almost 1 million people that are not registered to vote. If 1 million more people participated in this process, just imagine what your democracy would look like. We would stop a lot of these partisan conversations, bickering back and forth, because if we had 70–80% of the population that was participating, our elected leaders would know exactly what their mission was, exactly what the people wanted them to do. Right now, it's under 50%, and it's just kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah, and if you don't vote, the complaints, you shouldn't do it, okay? That's just the way it works. All right, so a month from now, big election. Your thoughts as we approach the stretch run?
Yeah, big midterm elections coming up in November, about a month to go. I'm excited right now about what Democrats are saying as far as statewide elections are going. Again, I'll remind the viewers, the Democrats have 4 women at the top of the ballot for governor, lieutenant governor, and both of the U.S. Senate seats. I think that women's issues are on the ballot in Oklahoma this upcoming election. I think the economy, I'll say the word, inflation is still on everyone's mind. I'll remind everyone at home that Democrats are talking about things like eliminating the grocery tax and lowering the gas tax, things that people care about at the kitchen table and when it comes to their wallet.
He beat you to it. Okay, so your thoughts with 1 month to go?
I am down on the job there, but the economy and inflation is top on everyone's mind right now. As the leader in the House, we've been front and center, one of the first people to actually ask for the elimination of the grocery tax, and I think I've been pretty clear on this show where I am on that. I think you're going to see Markwayne Mullin, Senator James Lankford both cruise to a victory. I think Governor Stitt's going to win. What I want you to be looking for is your local elections. Now's the time where those elections matter, but this last month, candidates without a vision are just going to throw mud at the wall and see what happens. This is where I hope you look at your local areas, vote down ticket. I think we've got a strong conservative base in what we've been doing in this state. I hope they go, but watch out for those that have no vision. So what do? They just throw mud.
So when there is no vision,
the people perish.
The people perish. Okay, thanks for watching Your Vote Counts. See this again at news9.com/YourVoteCounts. Follow me on Twitter @MitchellTalks.